Hey, hi, hello. What's been swirling around my head is stuff to do with like the way self-doubt and like I guess questioning yourself and questioning yourself and your own intentions is like one of the sneakiest forms of self-sabotage that I think my brain is like clocked in a little bit. And my heavy Pisces friend and I were talking about this. And I only mention that is because I think in my like little astrology brain that's trying to like figure all this shit out, because it's like a part of my brain that always goes up. It's like psychology, how does it apply to astrology? I'm like, is this like a mutable trait? Is it like a Pisces Virgo trait? Is it like a feminine trait? Is it like, because it's like a very, I feel like it's a toxic spin on like a way that your brain thinks in on itself when it's being like internal, and when you're being like self-reflective, and when you're able to like think of yourself in, I guess, in like a little bit of an objective sense. Yeah, so I don't know, it like comes into like a lot of different things. And I remember like the first time that it was ever like said to me that I was kind of like doing it and it was like not helping me was when I was in therapy, like more consistently a few years ago. Psychotherapy, by the way. Ooh, if you find yourself going to therapy and you don't really like psychologists, and if you don't need a psychiatrist for any kind of like diagnostic or medical reason, I think psychologists can also diagnose, but I don't know if they can give you medication. Anyway, another point. If you find yourself like just wanting to like sit and like talk and just wanting someone to like ask you questions, to like prompt your brain to like do its own little work, psychotherapy. Oh, it's like the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. I love it. I love it so much. I'm trying to find one here where I live now because it's just so fun. It's like just introspective thought, but it's instead of your own voice asking, like doing the questioning and doing like the but why? It's somebody else helping you do that. And then it's somebody else who can also like help you catch yourself when you're being a bit too hard and like a bit too critical and a bit too much on yourself, which is what I need. That's what I need. That's why it benefited me so much. But I remember just in this particular period of my life where I was like, I was going through it. I was going through it. And I couldn't just accept that I was going through it, and that in that period of life, I had been a bit of a victim, and I had not been a bit of a victim. I was hurt by people in my life at that point, and that was a very debilitating state for me to admit myself into. And something that my brain, I found very interesting when we started to address it, that my brain was doing to like take control of the situation was like try to put myself into a point of power by making myself the problem, which I want to put a pause because something just came in a sense of like in the majority of situations in your life, general, there are outliers, and there are definitely situations where there is so clearly one person at fault and the other person is the victim. But in most general circumstances in life, there is like two people in the wrong in some way or some capacity. But when you're like in the midst of feeling the reactions of that thing or vent, fight, whatever it is, it's not usually helpful for you to like do that to yourself, to be like, oh, what did I do wrong? You kind of like first and foremost need to completely understand how you feel, completely understand where you're coming from, how you're being hurt, blah, blah, blah. And then like after you've kind of healed a little bit and after you have like, you know, a sense of like collection and like safety, then you can kind of reflect and be like, okay, what did I do? If anything, what did I do? But I was doing that just in the moment, so I was like going through like going through it. Yeah, my brain as like a sense of control was like, maybe you're a narcissist and maybe you're the problem. And I had been seeing this girl for like 2 years. I like went to her one day and I was like, Haley, I'm the problem. And she was like, Annabelle, you're just not. Like, you're just not, and you need to calm the fuck down, because this self-doubt and this like questioning yourself is hurting you. She didn't say it like that, but once I kind of like understood that, I kind of started seeing it over the next few years, and I still see it to this day, that like that kind of action that my brain does it still exists, and it's very harmful because it usually creeps in when I'm trying to do something. And I was talking to my friend, like heavily Pisces friend. It creeps in when I'm about to do something like slightly outside of my comfort zone, maybe like a little bit, usually a little bit, which is why I like put it to like the yin kind of thing, because it's when I'm about to do something that's like more yang, like more an action to be seen, an action to like a choice to like flaunt myself, or anything to do with like promoting myself or promoting my growth. And not necessarily promoting as in like always like putting it out there, but like a decision or a choice that might like be different to what I usually do, like to go on like a certain trip, or like to talk to this kind of person, or like to make this kind of connection, or to make this piece of art, or like whatever it is. It's this feeling and this thing of like, are you actually doing it for the reasons that you initially said you wanted to? Which those reasons would initially be, for me, just like, I want to do this. Like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And like, it can just be as pure as like, I want to, because it feels good, because I think it's cute. Like, oh, perfect example, like the one that came up the most recently was like, I've been seeing my friends for like quite a few months now, just like do like those little outfit videos of just like a couple seconds of like when they feel like one of their outfits is really cute, just like film it and be like, hi, and then go away. And then like post it. And like there are a lot of times where I'm just in like house clothes and I'm like, whatever. And there are a lot of times like today where I'm in outfits that I'm like, I don't necessarily think this is a good outfit, but I feel good in it. And there are times where I put together an outfit and I'm like, this is a good outfit and I look good. And I like sharing that. Like I love, like, that's why like I love getting ready with, like, that's why, well, I don't really go out as much, but when I used to go out more, like back in the city I lived in, it's why I loved getting ready with my housemates, because we put together outfits and we'd be like, oh my god, it's so cute, and we're gonna go out, and we're gonna look cute, oh my god. Yeah, it's just it's like, it's so lovely to share those really like bright and like confident and like fun feelings with people, because it's just, it's great. Anyway, and like, yeah, I wanted to like do that a few times, especially in Leo season, especially when Venus went into Leo. I was like, I want to look hot and I want people to see it. And like my initial, when I first did one, I was like going to post it and then I was like, what if you're just doing this for attention? What if you're doing this to show off? What if you're doing this to feel some like gaping hole in your ego? What if you're doing this like blah, 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 blah. And there's like all of these like thoughts of just like, what if? And it's like, one, so what if I'm doing something for attention? Human beings are like social creatures. They crave to be seen. No matter how much of a hermit, and like, this is me speaking, I am like a hermit. I don't crave like a vast amount of social connection. I crave like the social connection that I have, but I still crave to be seen. And this is most definitely just my Leo rising, but I still want to be seen. Like I still want to be noticed. Like I would still like people to be aware of my presence in some regard. Like I still want to be seen in the world. Do you know what I mean? Acknowledged. Like I don't like, you know what I mean? I don't like, it's like a very human thing to want attention. It's why babies, like when you grow up, you want attention. So you might do like displays of like, you might act up and like people say, oh, they're just doing it for attention. Like no shit, dude, because if you have attention, it's like this, if you get attention, I don't know, I think it's such a stigmatized word. Like attention is essentially you being yourself and then somebody on the outside of you going, oh, I see you. Like I see you doing this thing. And then that in turn, it goes to you and goes, oh, that person sees me. And like at the core of it, it's not a bad thing. Like, yeah, it is a bit of a, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it is a bit of a thing to like think about and maybe weigh up if that action is trying to fulfill something in deeper within you, in terms of like, if you don't see yourself, if you don't see yourself, and if you don't have a connection to yourself, and if you don't give yourself that love and that like feeling of validation, and then if you do search for things, like if you do things to be seen, to fulfill something within you, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just maybe something that people have to think about, because it can get really dangerous, because that hole that people are like talking about is that's your self-love, and it's your love, it's your little container of like, I see myself and I accept myself and I love myself. And if you're filling that up with other people seeing you, yeah, that can get a bit problematic, because what happens when people don't see you? Then you're going to come into a little bit of a boo. But like, inherently, it's not a bad thing to get attention. And it's not a bad thing to do things. I think that's just my Virgo side being like, modesty. You don't need to be seen. You should just do things in service of others and be happy and fulfilled by that. Which is like, I get it. I get, like, it's the balance of the two. I get all of the parts of me. I get it. But it doesn't help when my brain comes in and wants to stop me from doing something innocently fun, because there's this like moralistic streak inside of me that's like, why do you want attention? And I think that's like, again, childhood stuff, Virgo stuff. There's a lot of stuff under it to unpack. I've already unpacked it. I know why, but I think it's helpful, and I think it's really sad, and I think it's sad that I do it, and I'm stopping doing it today. At least that's what I'm working towards. It's like my today's mission, and why I was in my head today is like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it. Because I think with where I am right now, I'm really happy with who I am right now. And that's not to say I think I'm the final version of myself, but for being where I am, 23, almost 24. You know, like, I've been living a very intentionally, like, self-centered life. That's like something that I think, like, I love talking about that. Because I think it's what I need to do right now. And in that process, for the past, like, good couple of years, like, long time I've been doing it, but I think it's only really been very effective, and I've really been able to reap the benefits my like efforts of doing that, of just getting to know myself, diving into my psyche, like really working on myself for the past like 5-6 years, but only really reaping those rewards in the past 2. I trust myself. Like, I now have like, yeah, I'm always kind of like fighting with my ego just because I'm Leo Virgo. And like Virgo's like, don't have one. And Leo's like, you are the ego. You are. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, like I still have that kind of like back and forth, but I'm learning to balance it. And I really just like, it came to my head this morning, and I was having, again, this like back and forth of like, oh, but like it's me just trying to ground myself in my authenticity and like my values. And I was like, bitch, it's also just you holding yourself back. Like, it's also you giving yourself excuses to self-sabotage, to not do things that are just mindlessly and like harmlessly fun and like self-celebratory and great. You know? Like, even like posting these videos, I know that like so many people, like, you hear like all the creators that have been coming up the past few years, you hear them say like, you know, I've been a YouTube consumer turned creator, and like that's definitely like, I wouldn't say I'm like a creator, but I make YouTube videos, obviously. But I remember like when I was little, like seeing people make YouTube videos and being like, and then being like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it because it looks so fun to just share yourself in that way. And it's like, I don't know, the more that I've come to terms with it, the more that I've realized is that like, it's like the most operative way for me to share myself, because I love back and forth, but I love back and forth, and I talk a lot and I love talking. I love it. But I only really feel comfortable just because of like who I am, and like, just because of, who and how I am. I can only really like maintain like a couple good friends, and though I can talk their ear off about anything, and I know they would accept anything, I'm not gonna do that to them. Like, I'm not gonna call them up every single day and be like, so this is what I'm thinking about today. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's like, that's just how I am. And so it's like, this is the perfect outlet of like, I have so many things to say. And I love talking about them, but I don't need to like maintain a friendship. It's just like a way for me to be like, bah. And like, also what I've understood about myself is that like, I think what I've understood, because like initially where I put this off for so many fucking years, one, when I was so young, I'm kind of happy I did, because I don't think it would have been healthy for me to be on the internet at that age, in that stage of my life, in like a seen way. But also, I put it off for so long because I would do the self-questioning thing of like, oh, you're doing it for attention. Oh, you're not good. Like, and also just like ripping myself apart and being like, are you what? Like, who are you to think that you should be able to be on the internet? Like, why are you valid enough to take up space? Blah, 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 blah. And then recently I just fucked all that off because I'm like, well, you're just making videos. It's harmless. It's fucking harmless, dude. Like, and anything, I think I've really been able to figure out the resolve of like, a resolve that, even though I've always had it in my body as like a feeling of like, I want to do this, I've finally figured out like it in words that I can like anchor myself down on. So if there are any other thoughts of self-doubt or questioning of myself, I can be like, no, this is why, like I know why. And it's that I think the world has an issue with like feeling and seeing emotion and emotional experiences. And like, I think I've been on a journey of my life that I don't really get to choose whether or not I feel my emotions or not. And just in like how I've come in contact with people and like the effect that I know that I've had on people around me in my close circles, that seems to be a good thing. It seems to be a good thing when people hear me talk about what I like, not what I go through, but how I go through life and like my emotions and my thoughts, because I'm very vulnerable and I'm very like able to be like, this is what's happening. And like, I think more people need to see that. I think more people need to see like the moments that people question themselves and self-doubt, and the moments that people are like, don't really know. Like, or like, and the moments that people can like learn to celebrate where they've come up to. Like, I think it's just important to see an emotional experience of life, and that is as someone with moon in their first house as their first placement, babes. That's experience that I can give, and that is now something I can ground myself in. So I no longer have any like, I don't have any of that kind of like, ooh, like, why are you doing this? Because it's like, I know why now. So fuck off, brain. Please don't poop on that. You've already done it this morning. Yeah, you've already done it this morning. But yeah. I don't know, it's one of those things that my brain does that it disguised itself, or at least when I would be thinking and I would be in that headspace of questioning myself, my brain would disguise it as like keeping myself grounded or keeping myself authentic or like checking in with my values or like whatever the fuck. But it's like, at a certain point, I'm kind of just like, and it's, yes, it's good to do that. It is good to do that. It is good to check in with your values before doing something. It is good to do that as a practice. But that's what I mean by like, it is this like self-sabotage, like exercise that just masked itself as like a good thing to do in my brain. It ended up being so much more debilitating than it was ever helpful. And I don't want to completely get rid of it out of my life completely, because like I said, it's good to check in with your values. It's good to like see if what you're doing is aligning with like who you want to be and like how you want to be, and like it is good to question why you're doing something so you know. But like, it is important to question where those questions are coming from. Like if it's coming from a place of like self-doubt, I don't want any part of it. But if it's coming from a place of like genuine like, oh, I have a feeling and the feeling feels good, but like, so I can find an anchor for that feeling, I would like to explore it further. I think that's my new take on it, is like, I want to find my anchor. I do want to find my why, but I don't want to just question myself and tear myself down for the fucking sake of it, because it's just so silly. It's not helpful and it's not supportive at all. And I'm on the train of me. I'm on the train of me, and I'm on the train of supporting me. Hi, self-centered, 20s, me. Sorry, I just got a text. So like, yeah, I'm just stopping it now. I'm choosing today, I'm stopping, and I'm not using, per my last video, I'm not using the word need. I'm not in a state of needing to stop this. I am stopping it. And that's it. Also, look at this fucking outfit. This is one of the outfits that I'm like, it doesn't look good, but it makes me feel good. Because I'm doing creative stuff today, and I was just feeling orange. I'm always feeling orange. Like, look at this shit. Velvet flares. Oh, you can't really see them in their like glory. Velvet flares. Cute top. Anyway. This top is really cool. It's got like all this, this part's like textured. Can you see that? No. Can you see it at all? You can see it here. Yes. Yeah. It's like textured and it looks really cute. It is not the most flattering top, let me be honest, but I don't care. Not everything has to be flattering. Flattering. Some things can just be fucking sick, you know? And that's okay. Anyway, doing creative shit today. I'm breaking some creative barriers, and like this is one of them, I think. Yeah. Because this also, I think, feeds into the whole, like, when you're about to do perfectionism. Maybe it's my perfectionism. It's like, you need to live as a completely moral person. No, I don't. I can live to look and feel good sometimes. That's it. Anyway, have fun. I hope you develop more of a trust in yourself, because I think that's all the solution to this is like, I just need to trust my initial intentions and like trust that like whatever it is, it's fine. Because I've at least worked hard enough on myself to this point where I should be able to trust myself, and I do. So yeah, have fun trusting yourself, I guess. Bye.